Hello and welcome to the latest edition of the Full-Time Whittle podcast. Today, I'm absolutely delighted to be joined by Wigan Athletic's 2013 FA Cup winning captain, Emmerson Boyce. Emmerson, you must never get tired of hearing that.
No, I never get tired of it. You can repeat again if you want to.
The 2013 FA Cup winning captain, Emmerson Boyce, it's always nice to hear, and obviously you're cementing yourself in Wigan Athletic history. And another moment in Wigan Athletic's history went through earlier this week on Tuesday, on the 30th of March, the Phoenix 2021 Limited Group became the new owners of Wigan Athletic. I'd just like to get your reaction to that breaking piece of information.
Yeah, relieved more than anything. Happy, excited. I heard a new owner speaking on his interview, and he's saying the right stuff. Everything positive, everything that we want to hear. And the main thing is we've got an owner now. He's going to come in and stabilise the club, and that's very important. And get through this season, we can start rebuilding next season, and then hopefully can push on for promotion.
How important is stability for a club like Wigan Athletic?
It's massive, not just for the football club, but for the town. I think we saw the support that came out when the news broke, and Wigan found themselves in a situation which, is not nice. Yourself, you set up a group, and you can hear how the fans talk about it. Wigan is a major part of a lot of people's lives. To know they got into a situation where the club could have folded, not in the fault of his own, but through other individuals, I think that would have been hard to take. But thankfully, it's been a long process. But thankfully, the new owners come in, saying the right things, and then hopefully we can start a new legacy now.
Was there any stage of the last 9 months where you felt that Wigan could cease to exist?
Yeah, 100%. You always get worried once 1 month's gone past, 2 months gone past, and we almost said a year later that it's finally gone through. So there was many a times when you're worried, but you always got to have the belief, and Wigan's based their a lot of their success on the believing. So I always had faith. Didn't think it was going to take this long, but thankfully now we hopefully got the right owners, and fingers crossed that we can put this nightmare behind us.
Over the last 9 months, Wigan Athletic fans have really come together, players, staff and ex-players too, to support the club and really helping through the dark period. There was 2 crowdfunders which helped raise over £800,000 in the midst of a pandemic as well. People have been made redundant, people have been laid off, people have been placed on furlough, but they still gave everything they had to support the football club. Do you think that speaks volumes of how special this club is to so many different people?
100%. It shows you how much it's impacted the whole community. The fact that we are going through a pandemic and the amount of money that was raised is actually outstanding. But it goes to show how important this football club is to not just to people, but I'll say the town of Wigan. I think everybody's pulled their weight, from the supporters to the players, MPs, council, you name it. Everybody's pulled together. So yeah, I'm looking forward to a bright future, and hopefully this will be a nightmare that's been put behind us, and hopefully one day down the road we can laugh about it and say, well, it is a lucky escape. But yeah, fingers crossed we can move forward now and put this behind us.
You mentioned MPs. Lisa Nandy on the Progress with Unity podcast said you deserve a knighthood for what you've done for the football club. How do you respond to that?
Say again? Say again?
Lisa Nandy on the Progress with Unity podcast said you deserve a knighthood for what you've done for the football club. How would you respond to that?
Me? I thought she was talking about... for me, the person that's been, the forefront of it is Lisa Nandy. She's been absolutely outstanding, the spokesperson, and made everybody aware of the situation of Wigan. For myself, I've done my thing on the football pitch, and this is more about the supporters and everybody else that's involved in this club that's helped it. So yeah, for me, it's a great praise from her. But for me, she should be awarded something.
You mentioned you watched the interview from the new incoming chairman, Mr. Talal Al Hammad. What are your first impressions of him and the Phoenix 2021 Limited Group?
He come across very well. I think he comes across like he knows what he wants. He's taken a big interest into the academy, the progress of the club, the history of the club, and I think it's important that he said he wants to continue that history, rather than saying this is a new era, etc., etc. He has taken into the account of the history of the football club, which is, I think is important. But he also outlined his own plans, and he's been quite realistic in terms of we want to get to the championship. You know, the Premiership was the holy grail, and it's been a fantastic journey us getting there. But at least he wants to build step by step, which is going to be important.
In terms of, you mentioned the academy there, and that's always been really vital for the club, because not only does it stand us in good stead for the future, but if it weren't for the academy lads putting the performances every week, we would not be here today. And you worked with a lot of the younger players during your time as a coach at Wigan Athletic. How do you find working with the young players and obviously the coaching side of things? I know you set up your own academy, the Emmerson Boyce Academy.
Yeah, no, I've been fortunate enough. I'm set up my academy in Lim. I'm doing the project in Barbados, the women's football program, and also I worked at the academy at Wigan. You know, for me, it's giving something back to the next generation of footballers coming through. I've been fortunate in my own career to experience quite a lot, from the highs to the lows, and you know, I just feel like I need to give something back, and it's always you know, it fills me with pride when I was watching the game at the weekend and I see academy players are coming through and playing at the first team level. And you know, Wigan's got a great history. Greg has done absolutely magnificent regarding the players that are coming through, as well as all the academy staff and the scouting staff. So yeah, for me, it's a great opportunity for the young players to come through. Like myself at Luton, I had the opportunity, and you know, you learn from the older players. But yeah, for me, you know, giving something back to the young, next generation is fantastic.
Gregor Rioch and Liam Richardson have both provided really calm and unbelievable leadership over the last 9 months. You mentioned Gregor there, you worked close with him, he joined the club in 2013. What's Gregor like as a character to work alongside, and how much does he bring to this football club?
Yeah, it brings some loads. You just sort of got to see the attitude of the players that have come through the academy, how they've handled themselves in the first team environment. And as I say, he has had a great influence over all the players that are coming through, as well as the rest of the academy staff. As a person, yeah, I've gone really well with him. He's bubbly, positive, and always looking to improve. And obviously now he's got a track record of actually producing players that are playing. That's well, it's keeping Wigan afloat in this division and produced. And as I say, it's not just the players that are playing in Wigan's first team, but you know, unfortunately, we had to let a lot of talented players go that didn't have, you know, Wigan supporters didn't get the chance to see. So yeah, great credit to him. Great credit to everybody as part of the coaching staff, and may it continue.
I think with the academy as well, that people often recognise is they're not just producing talented players, they're producing really nice human beings as well. And I think that's the key to it all, because you want players that are grounded and with the right attitude. And with Wigan Athletic, you played a big part of the club's history throughout your 9 years at the club. You helped Wigan to win the FA Cup in 2013. You was captain on the club's European tour. I'd like to know, what are your hopes for Wigan Athletic's future?
To be back in the Premier League, you know, that's my dream, to be back in the Premier League. Obviously, I had a great time there. I've seen how the Wigan fans respond. You know, obviously, like anything, just get out of this little situation we're in now. But hopefully, in the next few years, we can see Wigan competing at the high level again, and you know, making them sort of stories all over again. You know, a cup run, Premier League, all the big teams are coming back to the DW Stadium. You know, that'll be for me. That'll be a you know, a fantastic feeling.
Absolutely. And how much of a lift do you think the news of the Phoenix 2021 takeover will give the players ahead of the final 8 games of the season to stay in League One?
Oh, 100%. You know, it's as someone said to me the other time, another day, it's Wigan time now. You know, obviously last 8 games, 9 games of the season, you know, throughout the history, that's when we come alive. But from a player's point of view, knowing the club's secure now, you ain't got to worry about your future, or if the club's going to go out of business next week or the week after. They can just focus now on football, and every player that wants to do that, just focus on football, and it will give them a great boost. As I say, as much as the town will give everybody a great boost, and fingers crossed they can get the results now to kickstart a great comeback.
You mentioned Wigan time. You was part of some really great survivals over the years. I remember the game against West Ham. I know you'll remember that one really vividly. The 3-2 home win. Charles Exoby, a last-minute winner. We had so many great escapes. What is the secret behind a great escape, and what would be your advice to the players to pull it off yet again?
No fear. You know, play to the best of your ability. Don't worry about nothing. And I would say I was fortunate enough we had the Wigan fans behind us. this team, depending on the government, I don't think they're going to have much fans in the stadium, but I think they are very much aware of the fans outside the stadium or at home supporting them. So yeah, for me, it's all about playing with no fear. Play for the badge and believe in each other. And that's a great that word keeps coming back, is believing in each other, and I'm more than sure they can do it.
You say play for the badge. If you can sum up what that badge means to you, I'd really appreciate that, because obviously you're someone who is very admired by the Wigan Athletic supporters and will always be admired for what you achieved.
For me, the badge Wigan, living the dream. So in other words, living the dream is, for me, it fulfilled my FA Cup ambition, played in the Premier League against the best players, got a great bond with the club, and the supporters have been absolutely magnificent. So for me, living the dream, it sums up the badge.
That's a great summary. And last Saturday, Wigan played at Ipswich Town, and you was commentating for BBC Radio Manchester. Have you been finding your media duties?
Yeah, I've been enjoying it. I'm really enjoying it. BBC Manchester's made me more than welcome. Yeah, Dom, Liam, yeah, it's been a good education for me. And you know what? I've been fortunate enough to be able to go into the stadium and watch a bit of football. I'm more like a lot of the supporters where you're at home, seeing it on TV, but it's not exactly the same as being in a stadium. So I've been fortunate enough to be able to go to the stadium, commentate, and see live action, which has been great, and see the performances that the boys have been putting in.
For the fans who don't know, what is the environment like on a match day without the fans being in attendance?
Strange, airy, but no, it's first time I went in to do commentating, and I couldn't believe it because it was so empty and it didn't feel right. For me, I wouldn't like to play in them sort of situation. I'm used to the buzz, the crowd, etc., etc. But so it's a great credit to the players that are playing now in empty stadiums to motivate themselves to play at the top performance and putting in great performances. Because that's obviously when I was going through my time, the fans used to give us an extra level, but the players seem to like they're doing it now. So yeah, for me it was a strange feeling, but as I say, considering what's going on in the world today, it's something that we have to adjust to. And yeah, hopefully we can get the fans back into the stadiums very soon.
From a player's perspective, this season we have fielded a lot of young academy players. There's been so many great academy graduates, and do you think it's almost made it a bit easier in many ways that the fans aren't in attendance? Because when you obviously get into that first team environment and it's a pre-COVID world, every touch is scrutinised. And do you think it could have gave him an opportunity to settle in a little bit more?
Yeah, I think it works both ways. I think for me, when I play in front of fans, he's given me an extra, level, pushing my game up. Without fans, yeah, it's less pressure, but you can hear every word that's been said. So it comes with its own pressures of not, of fans not being there. So, but no, I'll be interested to see how the players deal with the fans being back in the stadium. Hopefully, I don't know when the government said that. I think before the end of the season. But yeah, fingers crossed that the players can still perform under that sort of pressure. But when you're winning, it's a fantastic place. And for me, fortunate enough, when we were going through a difficult time, the Wigan fans got behind us and helped us go over that last line.
I can't let you go without mentioning this. Earlier in March, it was the 6-year anniversary from Wigan Athletic's cup upset against Manchester City at the Etihad Stadium in 2014, where you made that famous block against Edin Dzeko, which is probably one of the greatest blocks I've ever seen in a football game. I was wondering if you wanted to talk about that particular game and that special tackle, which I'm sure probably goes down as the best tackle you ever made in your career.
Yeah, I think that's the best game I've probably played in my career, to be honest with you. It was meant to be set up as a revenge game. Obviously, we won the cup the year before. It was more or less new faces in our team, new manager, new style of playing football, and was going to the Etihad on TV as the revenge game. The fact that we came away from there with victory that led us, I think, to the semi-finals. I think I'm not too sure. And playing against City, who are meant to take us, to beat us, for me was a great, great game. And obviously, top off with the tackle. More I see it, the better it gets. And I say it's never say die attitude. And I'm fortunate enough, I got some big feet, and it came off my big toe, and it went over the bar. So yeah, it's all good. I always like watch that clip back.
Absolutely. And to end this fantastic podcast, and I really appreciate your time. It's always much appreciated. I'm sure you're extremely busy. And I'd just like to ask, what would be your message to the fans, staff, and new owners at Wigan Athletic?
Keep supporting, keep believing, and look forward to a bright future.